Scott shares his experience with being the road leader on the City Gospel Mission bicycle ride from Cincinnati, Ohio to Niagara Falls. And this was for at-risk teens. As part of his orientation, Scott learned that the purpose of the trip was to challenge the teens to attempt something believed impossible, allowing them to rise above their challenges. On the trip, adults modeled what it means to be a part of a loving family that cares about each member as they struggle with the difficult task of riding 500 miles in 7 days. I can do that in a car. Scott was a servant to the teens, ensuring safety for them on the road, repairing their broken bicycles, and ensuring they had enough water in the high heat. Scott knew at the end of the trip he would return home to his loving family at their comfortable home while the teens would return to the inner city, allowing them to have a servant heart. This is level 2, effective body language. Do you need this? Okay. And ladies and gentlemen, present Scott Taylor.
So imagine attempting something that you don't feel possible. And our feelings was if we help these teens accomplish this great thing and model our lives as Christians and show them what a family was, it could potentially change their lives. Because so many of our problems are in our mind. And if we have the thinking and know we can succeed, we can change the world around us. Remember that morning we showed up, they wanted to put these little flags on everyone's bikes, and some of the kids were very upset about it. I happen to have a $1,000 bike, and I just realized, oh, let's get that on my bike first. But it was fun. I realized it had really little impact anyways, but I actually liked those little flags because we could see them all across the distance. I remember I trained really, really hard for this trip because I wanted to make sure that being able to ride or have strength would not be an issue for me. I remember that one morning when I left LexisNexis, it was a cold, early spring day, and I suffered on that ride. But when I trained, I wanted to be in pain all the time because I wanted to be strong for the ride. I remember that first morning, there was this young girl with us, and she was really struggling. Her training for this trip was to ride her bike around the block once. I remember on the first hill, it didn't look good. So I grabbed the back of her seat, and I grabbed the center of my handlebars and said, we can do this. And I started cranking really hard, and I could just feel the energy transferring to her, and she worked hard. And we made it to the top of that hill. And honestly, I had my doubts, but I just kept telling her, we can do this. You can make it to the next telephone pole, and then the next telephone pole. And over time, to my amazement, she got stronger. And towards the end, she was just pounding down the road. I found that totally amazing, and it affected me probably as much as it did her. There was this young 12-year-old kid who was the youngest one on our trip, and he struggled too. And when I did my training, I could push my bike up to about 30 miles an hour, and I could hold it there at 30 for about almost a mile. I grabbed the back of the seat, I got the center of the bar, let's say we can do this. I found out I could push him up to 27 miles an hour. The group is going 13. We're on the back. We go zooming by them at twice their speed. And as we pass them, I give them a big shove and say, stay out in front. Everyone laughed, everyone cheered. He's bolting off the front like a rocket. And it was fun. It was incredible. And he succeeded as well. There was one kid that had some real issues. And it seemed like he hated everyone. And he picked me as his target. He took every opportunity to insult me, to try to hurt me. And I just always felt about my family back at home. And I thought about the fact he lived in the inner city. And it was easy just to take it and love him anyways. That particular year, it was very hot. It was about 90, maybe 100 on the road in Canada. And I was worried about his water I'd ride up to him and say, hey, here's some water. And being obstinate and he didn't want to take his water, I jam it in his bike. I grab his empty bottle, I jam it in his bike and say, I can't make you drink it, but I can make sure you have it. And that gesture, giving someone a water bottle, in a way it changed his life, thinking, who is this guy? I keep crapping on him, I keep complaining about him, and he comes and brings me water. It was amazing to see those lives transformed as we model what it means to be a Christian and care for other individuals. In the evenings, we would serve them. We had a whole team that took care of the food. We read scripture. We swam. We had a great time. And lives were changed because for 7 days they were part of a family that was different than the family they had back home. I found it totally amazing. And from that I learned that when you tell people that you can succeed, when you tell people you can do it, and I will help you do it, it's amazing how lives are indeed changed. And I think that I learned as much from that trip as perhaps they learned as well. And I've seen that in my life. And I know that a lot of times when I think about running for school board, the thing I want to bring to the table is with our students, wherever they are, regardless of their race or their circumstance or their economic condition or their mental state, we can help them succeed. We can help them be better individuals. And our focus on students should be helping them succeed and get them on the right path to success. And so many in society, there's forces that want to create division and paint people as victims and people as oppressors. I don't think that accomplishes much, because now you tell the person that you're a victim. How many people are encouraged by saying, oh, you're a victim? Oh, the odds are set against you. We shouldn't have that in school. Or telling people you're an oppressor. Does that make them a better person? It does not. We should focus on telling every individual we can succeed. And one of the things that matters to me is protecting children. That was my job on the road. I was in charge of safety, in charge of helping them. I'm totally excited about the future. I can't wait to see what's going to happen in our great city of Miamisburg. And I thank you for this opportunity to share about my bike trip to Niagara Falls and how we're going to change the lives of children for the better.